dying in a fatal crash this morning on I-95. We also have our final interview, part of Eating Disorder Awareness Month with Silver Hill Hospital, and today we'll be talking about food as medicine. Frank Granito has a look at the forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update with highlights from some of the weekend action in the FCAC. And later on, Donald Eng joins us to take a look back on this day in history. But first, a Stratford man died this morning after the car he was driving drove off Interstate 95 in Fairfield and crashed into a tree. 43-year-old James Mindrum of 1168 Main Street died of injuries following that wreck, which occurred just before 2 in the morning, according to state police. State police said that Mindrum was heading north on I-95 near exit 23 in a 2006 Ford Escape when the car veered off of the highway's right shoulder, according to a witness. Police said the vehicle went through a wire rope guardrail, down an embankment, and struck a tree head-on. Mindrum died at the scene. Police are still investigating that wreck. The right lane of I-95 was closed for about 3 hours after that accident. And a man died, but a woman was rescued after a car slid into the Saugatuck River in Westport Saturday night. 76-year-old Richard Lamondola of Syosset, New York, was pulled from the river about a half hour after the accident and taken to Norwalk Hospital, where he died. The woman who was rescued has not been identified. That car entered the river from the state boat launch off a lane road, but as of Sunday morning, police had not offered an explanation as to why or how the vehicle ended up in the water, though no foul play is expected. Hearst, Connecticut media reports that rescue began around 7:30 Saturday night after the car slid into the Saugatuck River with 2 on board. Alert diners at the Welk restaurant heard a woman screaming for help. Those diners then called police, who also called in the town's fire department and a dive team. The first 2 emergency responders on scene commandeered a civilian boat with the keys in it and darted out to pick up the screaming woman in the middle of the cold river, who police said was struggling with the current and being swept away. The woman told rescuers that her male companion was also in the water. He was located near Bridge Street and pulled from the water as well. He was treated at the scene and taken to the hospital. That accident remains under investigation. And in other news, a 43-year-old New Canaan man, identified by KTVN Channel 2 in California as Michael North, died in a snowboarding accident at North Star California Resort in Truckee, California last Thursday. A statement from the resort said that North Star Ski Patrol responded to a ski incident on advanced terrain. The North Star Fire Department provided further emergency care and pronounced the man dead. According to KTVN, the Placer County Sheriff's Department reported that North was found unresponsive in a tree well, though there were no witnesses there to tell what had happened. And for the 3rd time in as many months, an overnight burglar smashed the front window of Frat's Liquors in Darien and stole cash drawers out of the store's registers. Luckily, this time, the drawers had been emptied prior to the store closing and did not contain any cash outside of some loose coins. Now, a suspect matching the profile of the burglar in the prior 2 incidents was again captured on camera. A piece of brick was used to break the window, and a $30 bottle of wine was shattered as the suspect entered. He was inside the store for less than a minute, immediately taking the cash drawers. Officers recovered those drawers near Cove Road and were able to return them. Police are still investigating that series of burglaries. And the Monroe Police Department arrested 36-year-old Gregory Zimnock of Stratford at Bridgeport Superior Court and allegedly charged him with 2 counts of burglary and 2 counts of larceny. He was held at court for arraignment on a $5,000 bond. Back in December, a Monroe resident reported 2 separate burglaries to his garage. Police said Zimnock stole an estimated $2,000 worth of tools from the garage and that he entered it through the side door. The Monroe Police Department was able to tie Zimnock to the burglaries through his pawn shop records that listed the various tools he had taken from that Monroe resident. Police also said that Zimnock previously lived at the residence where those burglaries took place and that his family had sold the property 2 years ago. In other news, a man walked out with an undisclosed amount of money after robbing a bank in Wilton just before 3 p.m. on Friday. Wilton police are currently investigating. They received a report of a robbery in progress around 3 o'clock in the afternoon at Fairfield County Bank on Danbury Road in the Georgetown section of Wilton. According to police, officers responded and discovered that a lone male had entered the bank and demanded cash. There was no weapon visible, and the suspect left with an undisclosed amount of money. Police released no further details. Wilton police were assisted by Weston, Reading, and Ridgefield police on the scene. There were no injuries sustained, and the bank was remaining closed on Friday until further notice. And a Connecticut native thanked his public school education in his Oscars acceptance speech. La La Land's City of Stars is the winner of the Academy Award for Best Original Song. Hearst Connecticut Media reports that the song includes music from composer Justin Hurwitz and lyrics by Benj Pasek and Justin Paul of Westport. Now, Paul spoke of his appreciation for Westport Public Schools in his speech. Paul, who grew up in Westport and graduated from Staples High, said, "I'm so grateful to all my teachers who taught me so much and gave so much to us." He said, "I was educated in public schools where arts and culture were valued." But let's switch gears now and throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Warmer out today compared to a chilly Sunday around Fairfield County, with temperatures back up into the 50s. Mostly sunny throughout the day with patches of clouds later in the afternoon. A light breeze between 10 to 15 miles per hour will die down into the single digits overnight. Partly cloudy skies and an expected low of 37 heading into Tuesday. Mostly cloudy out again tomorrow and warmer temperatures in the mid-50s. Muggy during the afternoon as cloud cover increases later in the evening. We'll see some periods of rain overnight tomorrow. Temperatures up into the high 40s. Wednesday sees spells of clouds and sunshine and a couple of showers earlier in the day. Windy with gusts up near 30 miles per hour. A chance for thunderstorms later on Wednesday afternoon. Mostly cloudy overnight and the high wind gusts and showers will continue through Thursday morning. That's going to do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Donald Eng takes a look back on this day in history. We also have a jam-packed Nutmeg Sports update with Frank and some more local news coming up after this.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars. Wow. Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
It's all about meeting goals this year, and Trinity CrossFit of Ridgefield has experienced trainers, top-of-the-line equipment, and a newly renovated space to help get you there. Offering more classes per day than any other CrossFit gyms in the area, we cater to all fitness levels. Our coaches have a combined 10 years of experience in CrossFit, and as competitors themselves, Trinity coaches can get you ready for competition in 2017. Visit our convenient location on Route 7, Danbury Road, or find out more at trinitycrossfit.com.
Whether you're looking for the freshest seafood, the perfect steak, or want to share delicious appetizers, look no further than the Stone's Throw in Seymour. Chef Peter Hom has more than 30 years of experience creating original recipes in his American eclectic style. Our dishes are made from scratch with fresh, local ingredients that pair perfectly with a seasonal craft beer, a signature cocktail, or your favorite wine. When you visit our Riverside location, you'll feel like you're on vacation when you're only a stone's throw from home. Visit us on Roosevelt Drive in Seymour or at stonesthrowct.com. At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network. And we've also reached 1.7 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to this February 27th edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. Donald Ang is back after a week of vacation to give us a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, Kate, you know, it was on this date that the Supreme Court declined to force Americans back into what you might call their place. First, though, we go to 1860. Abraham Lincoln makes a speech at the Cooper Union in New York City. Though not one of his better known or most quoted, it is arguably his most significant. Lincoln at the time was not the Republican nominee for president yet and was virtually unknown in the East. The Cooper Union speech laid out in detail his views on slavery and opposition to allowing it in the territories. He also denounced Southern threats of secession as the moral equivalent of armed robbery. Historians consider the Cooper Union speech to be the one that won Lincoln the presidency. To 1940, Martin Kamen and Sam Rubin discover carbon-14, the radioactive isotope that makes radiocarbon dating possible. Now, in a nutshell, living things absorb C14, but because it is radioactive, it decays at the rate of 50% every 5,700 years, meaning that by measuring the ratio of C14 in something that used to be alive, you can tell very accurately how old it is. People, books, clothing, woolly mammoth remains, virtually all archaeology in the era of human history can be dated this way with extreme accuracy. To 1951, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution, limiting presidents to 2 terms, is ratified. It seems hard to believe now, but for the first 15-odd decades of our republic, it was simply tradition that kept presidents from running for a 3rd term. That tradition, by the way, started with George Washington, who had unanimously won the presidency twice and would undoubtedly have won a 3rd term, but health problems and bickering within his cabinet led to him deciding to retire from public life in 1797, and the tradition would continue into the 1950s. Finally, now we go to 1922. Speaking of constitutional amendments, it was on this date in 1922 that the Supreme Court ruled in Lesser versus Garnett that the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote, is, in fact, legal. The case had been brought by Oscar Lesser of Maryland, who had sued to stop 2 women from voting because Maryland's state constitution limited voting rights to men, and Maryland had not ratified the 19th Amendment. The court unanimously ruled that he had a moot point because the 15th Amendment, granting Americans of African descent the right to vote, had been legal for 50 years. Maryland hadn't adopted that one either. And so, 2 years after the 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote, the Supreme Court ruled that a disgruntled man could not force them back into their place and take that right away. That is your look back in history for today, February 22nd, and I'm Donald Lang.
Amen to that, Don. Thanks. All right. Well, in other local news in New Canaan, the Roger Sherman Inn remains open while the owners await Planning and Zoning Commission's vote on Andy Glazer's special permit application to redevelop that site. That vote may come this Tuesday, February 28th. Glazer's original application was submitted in September. It's been revised a couple of times as Glazer has responded to a variety of feedback from the town and the commission. Glazer's application is to convert a non-conforming commercial use in a residential zone to a non-conforming residential use in the residential zone. He plans to convert the historic structure, which faces Oak Ridge Road and houses the bar and restaurant, into a renovated single-family home and add 5 other single-family homes to that site. But there's more on that story at ncadvertiser.com. Let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now to talk about what a busy weekend it was, Frank.
Oh, just 7 games on Saturday for the HA Network. But before we get to that, let's announce our Week 7 Winter Athlete of the Week winners. They were Gabby Lasona of the West Hill girls basketball team and Dutrell Contavio of the Trinity Catholic basketball team. Contavio, the 6'5" junior forward, scored 28 points, grabbed 15 rebounds, adding as well a game 24 points in Trinity's wins over Bassick and Trumbull last week. Lasona made 4 key 3-pointers to lead the Vikings to a 56-52 win over McMahon. That win qualified West Hill for the state tournament. Let's stick with basketball now, though, as the HA Network covered all 4 of the boys' quarterfinal games on Saturday afternoon. When the dust settled, it was Trumbull, Ridgefield, Wilton, and Danbury who advanced to Tuesday night's semifinals. The afternoon tipped off with a thrilling back-and-forth matchup between number 3 Ridgefield and number 6 Fairfield Ward. In a game that came down to the wire, it was the Tigers' big man Nicola Dowdy who put up the buzzer-beating shot to propel Ridgefield to a 63-61 victory. Game number 2 saw our biggest upset of the afternoon as the number 7 Danbury Hatters knocked off the second-seeded Darien Blue Wave. Danbury led by as many as 25 in the game, but give the Blue Wave credit, refusing to go down quietly, trimming the lead down to as little as 2 in the fourth quarter. In the end, though, Javon Hernandez scoring 21 points, too much to overcome as Danbury held on for a 59-56 win. Game 3 saw another big comeback. The Wilton Warriors overcame a 14-point fourth quarter deficit on their way to a 55-52 win over Trinity Catholic. The Warriors led throughout the first half in this one before seeing Trinity take complete control, outscoring Wilton 17-6 in the third quarter. Senior Matt Cronenberg went for 9 points in the final frame as the Warriors flipped the script with an 18-0 run in the second half to take the fourth quarter and take back the lead for good on way to the win. In game number 4, the least dramatic of the afternoon, the top-seeded Trumbull Eagles struggled early on, but then outscored McMahon 49-30 over the final 3 quarters. Eric Day and the Senators just couldn't get it going offensively, and John Lynch finished the game with 23 points to lead all scorers as Trumbull advanced with a 59-47 victory. Tuesday's semifinals will tip off at 6 o'clock. It'll be game number 1 has Ridgefield and Danbury. Game number 2 at 7:45, Trumbull and Wilton. Boys hockey semifinals are set as well. For the second year in a row, number 3 Fairfield fell to a 6th seed. This time it was the Greenwich Cardinals who scored the game's final 3 goals, including Connor Santry's overtime game winner as the Cards knocked off Fairfield Co-op 5-4. In Saturday's second playdown game, it was the ineffectiveness of St. Joe's power play that proved to be the difference. Stanford West Hill comes away with a 3-0 win. Gavin Dolan, Nick Rich, and Cooper Healy, the goal scorers. Christian Compolotaro, 39 saves in the win. Stanford will face off against top-seeded Ridgefield now in Wednesday's first semifinal at 6. Greenwich and number 2 New Canaan round out the Final Four. Puck drop at 8 in that one. And finally, a big congratulations to the Greenwich Cardinals girl ice hockey team who won the program's first ever FCX championship this past weekend with its 2-0 win over the 3-time defending champion Darien Blue Wave. Riley Ellsworth broke the scoreless tie with her third period goal, and Jennifer Kelly added all the insurance the Redbirds would need as Jessica Ware stopped all 15 Darien shots on her way to earning the tournament's MVP honors. Let's look at the highlight from Greenwich's win.
It started in the first week back in December, and the road to Terry Connors leads to today as we're down to 2 teams remaining in the FCAC, the defending conference champion Darien Blue Wave and the Greenwich Cardinals. And again, we're seeing that neutral zone opportunities as Duffy over Ellsworth and a shot on goal, score!
I think the first mistake, Frank, is Darien, and Greenwich makes them pay. They exchanged odd man rush opportunities back and forth. Finally a giveaway, and his young Greenwich team now has a 1-goal lead.
Lowe turned it over, and Jennifer Kelly has it. Kelly winds up and lets a wrister go and scores! Shot it right through the screen, and a twine-seeking missile to the top left corner makes it a 2-0 Greenwich lead. Not be a four-peat with 5 seconds remaining. The Greenwich Cardinals are going to be the 2017 FCAC champions in girls hockey as they pile on Ware in front of the crease.
So congratulations again to Greenwich. They travel up to Simsbury this afternoon, Kate, as the girls' state tournament kicks off. Darien and New Canaan playing this evening as well in a 2-7 matchup. We will have full highlights from all 7 of the games on Saturday and a complete breakdown on Nutmeg Sports. Donald Ang, Kevin Coleman, John Kovach will all join me. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Back over to you.
All right, very cool win, exciting win, Frank. Well, in other local news today, in Ridgefield, a concept for improving Main Street will be aired by state planners before its village merchants and landlords, as well as town officials and the general public this week. That gathering is Tuesday at 5:30 in Town Hall. It's not a public hearing in the official sense, but rather a feedback session designed to get reactions to plans that the State Department of Transportation is still developing. State planners presented a few different concepts to a meeting of about 30 Main Street stakeholders last summer, then went to work with a small committee chosen from a larger group, seeking an approach that could improve traffic flow without diminishing the tree-lined charm that Ridgefielders cherish in their Main Street. There's a lot more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And those in the Reading and Easton area are probably aware of what happened to Joe Barlow High School student Zach Standen back in the summer of 2016. Zach was in a devastating car accident that left him partially paralyzed. Well, according to organizers of an upcoming event, Standen needs hope and support from as many people as possible. He's going to need countless medical procedures in order to gain movement in his legs again through stem cell treatment due to that tragic car accident. Well, to help support his recovery, local musicians Bobby Paltoff of the Bobby Paltoff Band and Grayson Hughes of Grayson Hughes and the Moonhawks will play a benefit show on Saturday, March 11th at the Fairfield Theater Company. For information on that benefit, you can visit the Bobby Paltoff Band page on Facebook or look for tickets at fairfieldtheater.org. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, our final interview this month with an expert at Silver Hill Hospital on eating disorder awareness. Today we're talking about the importance of nutrition. That coming up right after this.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, InSports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign your child up now for InSports Future Stars Basketball Academy, teaching skills on the basketball court for boys and girls ages 5 through 9. Visit InSportsCenters.com for more information on this 7-week program. And for adults, spots are also still available for our men's 30 and over and 40 and over leagues. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Want a new experience in car buying? Skep Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, skepchryslerjeep.com or skepdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands at the President's Day event and Ram Truck Month, now through February 28th.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ing for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Thursday, where we bring you all the top stories from Connecticut sports.
From highlights to player interviews and expert analysis, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, now Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
I'm Kate Czaplinski for the HAN Network, and February is National Eating Disorder Awareness Month, and we're at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan talking with experts on a number of pertinent topics around eating disorders and treatment. And today I'm joined by Brianne Farnsworth, who is a registered dietitian and the clinical nutrition manager at Silver Hill. Brianne, so happy to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, so let's talk about eating disorders and nutrition, because unlike other addictions, people can't avoid food. So what role does a dietitian play in diagnosis and treatment?
So the dietitian is a part of the whole treatment team, and the main role for the dietitian is to meet with the client to be able to assess their past eating behaviors, their eating disorder behaviors, and to come up with a meal plan and a treatment plan with the other disciplines that the person can follow to hopefully bring them back to a healthy place with food and exercise.
Now, what is a nutrition assessment?
So nutrition assessment is pretty thorough in that we take a history of the patient's or client's past eating behaviors, their weight history, their current BMI, percent body weight, what their eating patterns were in the past, when the eating disorder began, any pertinent information around who prepares the food, who buys the food, some of those more day-to-day type things to make sure that they're able to be more successful in the treatment with the eating disorder.
Now, what might a healing menu look like for someone getting treatment for an eating disorder?
So typically, it's all about moderation and learning how to accept all foods fit. So to heal from the eating disorder, they have to have a decreased fear around food. So firstly, it would be a balance between making sure there's proteins, healthy carbohydrates, fats, fruits and vegetables, all the components are there with all the different food groups. So their body can heal and also emotionally they can start to heal. A big part of it too is learning how to accept foods that have been fear foods in the past as not fearful anymore. So exposure to some food items that may have caused anxiety or bad experiences in the past, like think desserts or chips or things that may have been difficult for them.
And now let's talk superfoods and supplements. Do those play a role in treatment?
Well, as a dietitian, all foods are super to me. And they always can play, every food can fit. In terms of superfoods that the media or diet industries and things out there that kind of put out there as superfoods, it would be things like fruits and vegetables, things that kind of get like in the limelight for a bit. Those things can be worked in, but we don't want to emphasize that those are the most important things because again, broccoli is great, but it's also a piece of the whole eating. So they do get worked in, but as part of the whole eating plan. As for supplements, it's more about an individual basis, so depending on the eating disorder behaviors that the person came with, but we like to base that on lab values. So if somebody comes in and we know that they haven't been eating well and the lab showed they're low in iron, so things we might supplement with are like iron, calcium, B vitamins, but it's a very individual and lab-based.
And now how can kind of having a nutrition plan empower a patient or someone out of treatment?
So a lot of people who have eating disorders feel that they are in control by having the eating disorder when in fact it's controlling them. So for them to release that really tense control over food and follow a pattern of eating that's very kind of more regimented and consistent actually makes them feel better both physically and emotionally, therefore they don't have this feeling that the food's controlling them and their emotions are controlling them. So it's very important to follow that so that they can get back to mental and health, like feel mentally and physically well.
Well, Brianne, this is a really interesting topic. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right. Well, if you want to find out more about our partnership with Silver Hill Hospital this month, you can visit our website, han.network. And thanks so much to Silver Hill Hospital for working with us throughout this month. If you missed any of our interviews with experts on Eating Disorder Awareness Month, you can find those on demand at han.network. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break, but still a busy day. HAN Arts and Leisure coming up at 12:30. They're going to break down the Oscars and talk about movies to look forward to. And of course, there's a lot of ground to cover on Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock, right, Frank?
Yes. Don, Kevin, John will all join me. We'll have all the hockey and basketball, both boys and girls, coming up for you too. Unfortunately, Kate, no games to broadcast.
All right. Well, coming up tomorrow, we got more going on. And we will see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11.